I was finding 4 and 7 the most, but he had a brilliant way to use mobiling techniques, QSOing techniques, by cutting the information to short segments, repeating many times, and we had a quick over from time to time, and that worked just beautifully. We kept on going for quite some time. The other station, Chef, was pretty good. He had constantly reasonable signal there, so that was Rod, G6 there, Lima Victor Juliet. It was more difficult with Jeff, G4, G6 Alpha Lima Mike, so that was a 4 and 7 signal. So what you can basically say from that is, tonight really the dominating factor is the Q and Nancy each and everywhere, at least in our area. Because if you look around Switzerland, it's surrounded tonight by just a number of very strong and active Q and Nancy centers, so to speak, lighting there. So, and you seem to be doing very well with your Apache Lab ANAN-7000 Delta Lima Echo. I just see it on the QSZ here. And I also am quite surprised to see that the 2x13 H-inverted V-balanced dipole is doing so well. Probably the answer is if you do it right and have the right couplers and the right feed line, you're more or less in business there. So that's the secret that we need to follow. So those guys, I mean, to give you an example of what doesn't work at all, and I had a number of stations try to call me. Maybe they were not aware, in spite of the fact that I mentioned it several times, but I have enormous problems in copying them through the Q and Nancy crushes. And I tried to do everything on my side which I could, but in some of the cases it didn't work out. Firstly, the modulation was not really punchy. There was too much bass here on the bassy side, and that never works under critical conditions. And then they didn't follow in the right way of segmenting and shortening the information. So I was not even able to read the code sign there, although I tried. In one case, I used web radios, different web radios for the mobile station there for Germany Delta Charlie 2 Charlie Whiskey Mobile, who was 90 kilometers west of Berlin, somewhere flat countryside, and he used a 6-meter long whip, a military whip on top of the car, directly adjusting it with a small tuner there. And it's a bit critical because the small tuner has small coils, and the small coils are pretty lossy. And then he's over sandy ground, and sandy ground is the second enormous amount of introducing losses. So, well, it did work out, but boy, it was difficult. So summarizing all that, well, the signal noise ratio of that's basically what counts. Of the stations that I met tonight was, excluding yourself, let's say mediocre, and that is putting it to the mild side, I guess. But your signal is just outstanding, and maybe it's an issue related to the skip. HB9 United Queen X-ray Henry Baker 9 Charlie Victor Queen.
Yeah, amazing, 100%. Yeah, you said a lot of interesting things there, and I tried to write down a few words, not to lose the lose the way there. Okay, amazing. I remember when I went on your page, and I also remember your call sign, because I'm good friend with Andy CVE, Charlie Victor Echo. Perhaps you might know him. And plenty of people tell me, do you know Andy from Switzerland? I say, which one? And they say CVQ. And I read a lot about, and I think I saw your car, but I'm not sure if it was yours, in Friedrichshafen. And I read some articles about mobile antenna in the Funkamateur review, where they compared some mobile antennas. I don't know if it's you working on all these projects on mobile antennas, but okay, really, really fine job. And what you described about the stations, it's exactly the same. I live here, calling, and getting some answers. You just can guess answers in the noise. And it's simply not possible to work the stations, and you have to ask them many times to repeat the call sign. And sometimes they feel very confident in the fact that you hear them, and even if you tell them, no, sorry, your signal is lower than the peaks of the static bursts I have here on my side, and they really, they have peaks at 7, 8. And the static bursts go at 5.9 plus 10 dB. So they really need to have strong signals to come through. And surprisingly, they can read me, even if my antenna is rather poor on 80 meter. But okay, it works. I was planning, just after a discussion in Friedrichshafen with Peter, HB9ALH Alpha Lima Hotel, perhaps you know him, to add some coils on my antenna. The idea, given the fact that the antenna is quite low on the roof, is to, at least for the higher bands, just to cut it off a little bit shorter in order to increase the distance to the roof, and also to flatten a little bit the incident angle of the antenna. On the lower bands, that would just lengthen, give a little bit more length to the antenna. But this is just a project, and I'm not sure I will stay very long here at this QTH, because I'm planning to move 5 kilometers away to a new QTH, so I will have to start everything from the beginning again with the antenna. So okay, it was a long over. I hope I didn't miss anything. Andy, I give you back the microphone, and I hope that was okay. HB9CVQ, HB9UQX.
HB9UQX, HB9CVQ returning. Beautiful copy, Peter. As they say, armchair copy, lean back, relax, and enjoy. That's exactly what happened. So no creeping into the headphones and trying to squeeze out the last bit of information deep down there. Okay, no problem. I'll give you a short answer on the many questions. The car at Friedrichshafen, yes, was mine. If it is an Audi A6 with an Alpha Golf number plate there, which is also pictured in Funkamateur 719. The article is what we created here. When I say we were a group, well, I can certainly say I'm the mastermind, but then we have very good technical support from a number of people. Some of them are professionals in the field, like myself, and some other people have a very, very broadband experience from very many areas, be it informatics or being some other areas. So that's quite good, and the answer is yes. And the pics on myqaz.com, the pictures, they give some more information on the mobiling stuff, which has not been published yet. There is a sequence of publications which we finished, and it goes as follows. There will be 2 more coming in Funkamateur. They have been referenced, so probably what I hear is the next one about the investigation. Can reverse beacon and CW be used for antenna comparison mobile? And the short answer is no. It was a complete flop, and one of the major reasons is the time. It was not a synchronous effect, so time synchronization between 2 antennas. Although the system reported the same second, completely wrong. We investigated that and found deviations of more than 30 seconds. And everybody knows in the shortwave arena here, HB9CVQ here, that if you have 30 seconds, the QSB could almost wipe out a station or push them into the easy heaven, into the easy listening heaven. So that is one thing. There will be the one that I referred to, Funkamateur, coming out is probably September. That's what the people from Berlin told me, which I met at the Friedrichshafen radio. So that is probably September, where they do another 4 pages. And then there's another 4 pages which we have already sent in, and everything has been agreed so far, to be published probably in the next month, which is in October. And there is another one in October coming out, which is, well, I'm always saying this is planned for October, the final. What was this with the magazine? In that case, it is the CQDL, that's the German Amateur Radio Club magazine. And that is basically on the basics of amateur radio. And I forgot to say the third one, which is supposed to come out in Funkamateur, by Funkamateur in what was it, September, October, is on a success story. We used Whisper to actually analyze the efficiency, the absolute efficiency, which is extremely difficult to do for mobile antennas. But the big trick there is never consider any signal beyond the first hop. Anything beyond the first hop can simply not be analyzed. So, and I had a great chance to talk to Joe Taylor, who is the inventor of the Whisper thing and all the FT8 and FT4 and what have you. K1 Julie Tango, and pretty thought that the presentations he gave. And he said, yeah, the only chance which is reasonably successful is to use Whisper for what you have in mind, comparing these antennas there. Because one of the things which Whisper makes it so nice is that the signal timing is down to 1 second accurate compared to the atomic clock. That's important, so there's no such thing as QA. Over the signal noise ratio is improved by, well, easily 25 dB. And for the very low signals from mobile station, given the low efficiency of the antenna, sometimes could be, according to the article which we published already, maybe 1% or 5% or something. So you really need to fight for signal noise ratio. Okay, so that's the rundown on that one. Basics, which is coming out in probably October in CQDL. They all are going to be around 4 pages, and by the same group of authors. Will be around basics and some history of mobiling. Where I used basically US sources. I'm a member of the ARL, and therefore have access to the archives of QST and the like. And I used the archives of CQDL, or the Adequate, as it was called in the early days, and I'm using, actually I used the Funkamateur archives there, and my goal was in this investigation, which is kind of literature research. I wanted to find out in what year was what kind of thing invented. So I searched the patents, which you can easily search on internet nowadays. Let's say Google patent search or something, and then you see in the various times. I started 1952, 1950 around that, and up to now. And there's not really a peak in any of the years. Maybe a little bit of a peak in the 80s, and so you see more and more stuff emerging, and you see people repeating stuff that they have done 20, 30 years ago. The usual thing. I mean, given the people would really properly in a proper way do the literature research, they would save themselves a lot of work, completely unnecessary. Anyway, so this is the attempt to reinvent the wheel, which is not that much of a smart idea. With your library at your fingertips nowadays, your digital library, it's so easy to do that. But you have to know how to do it. So that's one thing. And the last article, which is coming out probably in November, in the CQDL, is we are reporting, well, basically, myself reporting, because I was driving the car, 50,000 kilometers experience of 80 meter, 40 meter, 30 meter, a little bit of 20 meter, 17. and almost none of 160 meter mobiling, so HS mobiling. Pretty clear, so the highlights were, I mean, I restricted myself exclusively to CW because that's the only way to communicate in a reasonably way, except digital, which I didn't want to do. SSB is a hopeless case, and I only use 50 watts, 50 watts output for a number of reasons, which are specified on the power supply, etc., etc. The equivalence between consumption and charging, etc. So all this stuff, and I used so many antennas and got a pretty good picture, but you have a kind of sense on it already if you read the existing article in 719 Funkamateur. But in the meanwhile, we added more antennas to the test, and we have tested the Hostler, which was quite good, and we have tested a number of other antennas. And we hopefully will be adding some more in the very near future here in this test slide, which we're using. So that was a very long over. I'll get back to you. Hopefully covered everything okay, Peter. Hotel Bravo 9 United Queen X-Ray. Henry Baker 9 Charlie Victoria Quebec.
Yeah, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Now the signal doesn't move from the 9+20 point here on my S meter, and I'm averaging the signal. It would even go higher, so no, it's very, very, very pleasant to listen to your transmission here too. Okay, I really appreciate, because I noticed that on your QRZ page you added the PDF of the article. It's much completer than the one. I have the feeling that it's there is more information on this one than the one published on Funkamateur, and yeah, I see there are even more maps, because on Funkamateur there is only one reference map, you know, with a receiving point and the transmitting point where the antenna is, the transmitting antenna, and where the receiver is, to compare the diverse antennas. And yeah, I'm also glad to hear from the stick, you know, the DXM antenna from Wolfgang, and from the antennas from the Delta Juliet 0 Hotel Victor, and so these are guys I from time to time I meet them. I saw Enzo also in Friedrichshafen. So, Andy, with your permission, I will slowly go QRT now because I'm tired. It was a real pleasure to meet you here, and I will go a little bit through this article. I'm not practicing mobile, but I have some friends doing that on a quite regular basis, and so I think this input is absolutely interesting, and thanks for all the information, and that's very fascinating. Also the idea to use whisper mode in order to to get the very best SR, the signal noise SN ratio possible. Of course, makes absolutely sense. And yeah, perhaps there are also some, depending on the distance, some phase rotations phenomenons that are under better control if you adopt whisper mode. It's just my idea now about this. Okay, so thank you again for the QSO. And yeah, looking forward working you again here, and really congrats for the excellent job you're doing with the team there, and I will follow that with a great interest. So Mike, back to you, wishing you an excellent Sunday to you and your family, and looking for the next one, HB9CVQ HB9UQX.
I'm just searching something on the internet to be able to send you that information, because it might possibly shine some more light into the whole activity, because there is also a professional side to it. I'm just trying to get to that and send a link to you. Just a second, I'll be preparing that link here. Scrolling down to conference where I give a long 5-hour workshop in Barcelona. on the 4th of September on the particular subject, however, including something which has not been even touched on in the Funkamateur, that is professional simulation of the whole thing. To put it into a nutshell, simulations and the practical experience match very well in most of the cases, which makes us very happy to see that, but it was a long way to go there. So here we go, let's see. Where the hell did this go? This should be on Wednesday. Oh, I'm on Thursday. Oh, here it is, okay. So I just want to give you that reference so you can look it up yourself. Which is kind of a text there, which people call an abstract, you know, and that's what I was trying to do. Let's see, I'll put that away, put it in your email and say, joy, here we go. That's a link, okay, so let's open the link to see where yes, not no. Open hyperlink, here we go, what's happening? Looks pretty good. Yep. Did it, okay, here we go. So, that is on, that's coming, let's see. Put myself there as a, oh, here we go. It is out. It should be with you in any minute. If you are online, email, over.
Yeah, I'm pressing F5, you know, to refresh, and I can tell you as soon as it's arrived. Given it's on Gmail. Yeah, it might take a few seconds. Okay, thank you very much for that. I will read that from my cell phone, depending on the format. If it's a big one, I read it on the main computer. Yeah, okay, it didn't arrive. Let's see if I get it here. Times no, negative. So I come back here and refresh. Yeah, it takes some time, but I don't worry, it will arrive. So thanks for that. Thanks for for the trust also, and really looking forward. And I saw, yes, at the title from the PDF that about the conference in Barcelona. Amazing. That's very, very interesting job there. Okay, thank you once again. I wish you a nice evening, and yeah, let's hope conditions will be better next time for other QSOs. We are lucky between us. We have just an excellent skip now, but also to run a few more contacts over Europe. So thanks again, Andy, and yeah, best regards. 73s. Have a nice Sunday. HB9CVQ, HB9UQX. I just press refresh again. Still not there. Wow. It must go around the world first. HI.
Yeah. Peter, okay, thanks. HB9CVQ right back. So it's nothing else but a link incorporated into the email, so you can click on the link and then get to the Barcelona conference, which is EMC Europe 2019, and then the workshop happens on Wednesday. It starts 9 o'clock and goes all the way down to 1700, so you can easily imagine it's going to be very, very much of information that I and my colleague from Georgia in the eastern part of, well, it's the eastern part of Europe, towards Asia, they are going to present. She did the simulations, and I basically did the experiments, and yeah, we're reporting on that lot of stuff, and I put that into a nutshell, which is certainly mentioning amateur radio, but it's not the main focus there. So it is shortwave HF communication being used for emergency support organizations, NGOs. So that's the background of those things. That, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do. We will include more information on the magnetic loop antennas, because if you go over to the military side, that's what they are doing since a number of years. And of course the military has a way different budget than civil support organizations, but maybe we can help out there. Okay, HB9, United Queen X-Ray, my pleasure. Henry Baker 9, Charlie Victor Queen, good night and bye-bye. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, fantastic. Yo, that's another subject I'm absolutely fascinated by, this mag loops antenna. And yeah, and also why not use one here at the shack. But wow, amazing. Okay, looking forward. It's still not arrived, and it can't be wrong because the link is very simple. It's my call sign at gmail.com. But yeah, perhaps there is some filtering. I have no idea. So my Google phone needs to react because I said okay. Okay. So bye bye. See you soon, Andy, and thanks for the link. I will follow that with great interest. See you soon. Bye bye.
Roger, Peter. Yes, the magnetic loop antennas are less efficient, but based on propagation, there's sometimes some enhancing effect so that the overall efficiency is higher than just having these monopole antennas. That's the whole story behind it. It's related to a near vertical incident sky wave. Thank you. Good night, HB9CVQ. Bye-bye.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Here is Hotel Baker 9, Charlie, Victor, Quebec, realizing that there is less crashes here.
Data Oscar number 7. Ocean HB9UQX Portable.
Irgendwas DO7 Portable, bitte den Rufzeichen nochmal.
Data Oscar 7, Florida Oscar X-Ray Portable. Schönen guten Morgen.
Ah, DO7 Fox, wieder Fox-Portable, richtig, Daniel?
Ja, genau, das ist der Daniel hier. Portable Adresse hier im 2QTH in Hannover, direkt am Stützkanal. Also ich bin hier direkt am Wasser. 86 Meter Luft habe ich hier gespannt, nicht ganz so hoch, so Einspeisepunkt so circa bei 9 Metern. Und das geht ja gut ins Wasser, so zwischen 7, 9 und 6 Meter geht das hier hoch und runter.
Ja, okay Daniel, ja, schwierig mit der Modulation. Ist ein bisschen wenig aggressiv hier bei dem QNNC, ist das schwierig. Hast du noch einen Sprachprozessor zur Verfügung?
Ja, warte mal, den kann ich mal zuschalten. Also sonst habe ich hier immer so Augenblick, aber ich geb den mal hier auf 5, 1, 2, 3.
Ja, jetzt geht die Sonne aus.
Also normalerweise müsste das, ich bin hier mit der ALT hier knapp im roten Bereich, das sollte eigentlich funktionieren, oder?
Ja, das hat eine Menge geholfen, aber deine Modulation ist allgemein mehr auf der tieferen Seite als auf der höheren und die ist gerade wichtig für die gute Verständlichkeit unter schwierigen Bedingungen. Wir haben hier also grauenhafte Pulsstörung durch diese ganzen Gewitter, die um die Schweiz herum da sind. Gut, anyway. Aber es geht. Du bist hier so mit, sagen wir in den Spitzen, mit 5 und 8 hörbar. Es geht manchmal auf 4 und 7 und so runter, dann wird schon ein bisschen kritisch. Weil die QNNC-Linie, die fliegt da manchmal hoch auf 20 über 9. Dann bist du natürlich weg. Ist ja klar, weil dann ist das Störverhältnis, Signalstörverhältnis minus irgendwas, dann geht nichts mehr. Gut, anyway. Ich hoffe, du kannst mich einigermaßen aufnehmen. Name Andi, Koreaner in der Nähe von Zürich und wie laut oder leise bin ich da bei Hannover?
Ja, du bist hier so oben 10 dB über 9, zwischen 9 und 10 dB über 9. Ich habe das mal abgeschnitten hier von jetzt hier über 200 Metern, die Zwischenanteile abgeschnitten sind und dass es ein bisschen prägnanter wird. Ja, du bist hier, wie gesagt, also ziemlich konstant um die 10 über 9, das geht ja mal ein bisschen auf 9 runter. Das ist hier ein HB9UQX, so eine kleine eierlegende Wollmilchsau.
Ja.
Wie gesagt, 86 Meter Luft hier im Schleife im Garten und Originalmikrofon hier am HB9UQX, Roger.
Ja, okay, ja, gut, also, aber ist eben gut, ich habe noch ein bisschen mehr Kompressionsgrad erhöht, da hast du es vielleicht noch einfacher. Da wäre es eben manchmal vielleicht noch ganz gut, wenn du den Höhenteils mehr betonen kannst hier dann. Das sind so Einstellungen meistens bei diesen Equalizern, die man da machen kann. Aber anyway, es geht. Ja, Station hier so Pi mal Daumen 850 Watt HF. In eine 2x36 Meter Dipolantenne, die ja beim Winkel von 100 Grad aufgehängt ist und der hängt auch nicht wie so eine Inverte